Brexit tensions between the EU and the UK over fishing rights sparked a furious row between German MEP David McAllister and BBC host Mashal Hussain, who challenged Angela Merkel's ally over Brussels' reluctance to agree on an annual quota-based agreement. The German MEP claimed the European Parliament is seeking a comprehensive Brexit trade agreement with the UK that must include a deal on fisheries. Mr. McAllister, from German Chancellor Angela Merkel's party, argued the fisheries agreement could not be based on annual quota. He told BBC Radio 4 host Mashal Hussain, "The European Parliament seeks a comprehensive trade agreement that includes an agreement on fisheries. The agreement on fisheries cannot be disconnected from the overall economic partnership. And what we're saying is that this agreement should be balanced, sustainable and provide long-term arrangements. So the fisheries agreement from our point of view cannot be based on annual quota. That simply wouldn't be able to be implemented." But the German MEP was quickly challenged by the BBC host, who blasted, "Sorry, but why not? Norway does that every year." He replied, "Yes, but we're talking about so many different fish species in all these British waters that most people who are engaged in the fishing industry say that this just wouldn't be practical. It would be very heavily bureaucratic." It comes as the UK's chief negotiator has called for more realism from the EU on the eve of crunch negotiations to broker a post-Brexit trade deal. Lord Frost said the two sides can no longer afford to go over well-trodden ground in the deadlocked talks, as he warned progress must be made this week to get an agreement in place for the end of the transition period. He was speaking ahead of a meeting with his EU counterpart Michel Barnier for the 8th round of talks beginning in London on Tuesday. Downing Street has sought to increase pressure on Brussels, with Prime Minister Boris Johnson setting a 5-week deadline for trade talks to succeed in time for the transition's end on December 31. But talks were set for a collision course over new Brexit legislation, which has dismayed senior EU figures, who are concerned it could override key elements of the withdrawal agreement. Lord Frost said, "Today, I will sit down with Michel Barnier and drive home our clear message that we must make progress this week if we are to reach an agreement in time. We have now been talking for 6 months and can no longer afford to go over well-trodden ground. We need to see more realism from the EU about our status as an independent country."